Let's go live to a member of Congress who was also in that ballroom, Representative Nanette Barragán of California. Walk us through your experience, because we are starting to hear a chorus, it sounds like, of people who said the security lines went very fast. Some people felt like security wasn't adequate. What did you experience?
Well, when I went through security, to get down to the magnetometers, there was an escalator. You had to show a ticket to get down there, not an ID, but a ticket. So I went down there, went through the mags. I saw TSA pre-check, agents, basically TSA agents rather, checking bags, which was a surprise to me. There was a Secret Service agent when you went through the mags that also had a wand. But once you got in, it was pretty tight in there. I was sitting down having my salad, talking to one of the table people, and I heard what sounded like plates crashing, a lot of commotion started, and then I heard somebody say, "Shots fired, get under the table." And we all got on our knees. We got down. It was a little hard to maneuver because the seats are so close together. The tables are so close together. People saying, "I have kids at home,"
Mm.
a lot of chaos. And then I think because there wasn't enough room for Secret Service to maneuver within the tables, from the tables, that they were like on top of the chairs, on top of the tables. And I think that was causing even more confusion from noise, saying, "Wait, did I just hear another gunshot?"
Mm.
And so it was just a lot of chaos. I saw Secretary Kennedy being whisked away. He looked a little disheveled, didn't know if something happened to him. I had the acting Secretary of Labor at my table, so we had Secret Service come with, guns drawn. It was a scary experience when you look up and you see, law enforcement with these big guns pointing out to the audience where you are. And so it was definitely what ran through my mind is, how does this happen here? This is supposed to be top-notch security. How does this happen here?
Well, and I want to go back to something you said. You said you were surprised to see TSA agents at security. Why is that? And in your mind, as a member of Congress who knows that there are funding issues relative to the Department of Homeland Security, to TSA, have been for several weeks, if your sense is there's any connective tissue to the security staffing there and what's going on in Congress?
Well, I've never seen TSA agents at a high level event with the president. And so I think that was the first thing that I kind of drew, just kind of drew my attention, and thought, the training might be a little different from a Secret Service agent who's there to protect the president than maybe a TSA agent. And so it just really struck me as something that was odd. I don't know how often that really happens, but I can tell you when I go to the White House, when I go to other high level events with the president, I have never seen that before. Um, but as you mentioned, there have been funding issues. The Democrats are ready to vote on the Senate bipartisan bill that would fund everything except ICE and CBP. We continue to push for that. But it was something that was startling for me to see, mostly because we've seen almost always as Secret Service. Certainly, when I've gone to the Congressional Hispanic Caucus at the convention center, many presidents have gone over the years. It's always Secret Service.
Have about 20 seconds left in our conversation with you. I wish we had more because I could talk with you for an hour on this as a member of Congress. But we are in an environment where we are seeing more and more amped up political rhetoric and political violence now. What is your call as a member of Congress to people watching about conversations we should be having?
Well, I think it starts at the top, and you need to have the president set that tone as well. And so I invite him to do that. You can take a look at a number of his tweets, even the January 6th, where he's inciting violence and then saying people are going to be pardoned. That does not help. And I think people think they have a free pass. But everybody needs to tone it down when it comes to watching what they say, how they say it. It starts at the top. It definitely goes down to members of Congress, local elected officials, and everybody. So I hope people will take that into consideration, and it really needs to start with the president.
Representative Nanette Barragán, thank you so much for being with us. We appreciate it.